this year. But either way, I digress. I do want to show off one fun thing that I found in my discoveries, or in my hunting around yesterday. Yeah. Which is that we've been talking, somebody brought up a while ago, the whole thing about dead space pockets, right? And why are there dead space pockets? Now, dead space, oh man, actually, now that I've said that, hold on. EVE Online, dead space. What is it? Does it actually explain what dead space is? Hold on. Well, I can't find. Okay, I can't find any. Or like, I'm not gonna start looking for it right now. But I do want to show off this little piece of information from YC106. So this is 2004 when the game first came out. Now, to put a little bit of perspective in this, this is actually as Upwell is announcing that they're going to be releasing POS sticks and moon mining capabilities. So in this world in which, like, there's an argument, the empires are actually actively trying to stop Upwell, or not Upwell, or from releasing space colonization tools to Capsuleers, this happens, which is rogue drone infestation discovered but kept secret. This was November 4th, YC106, which is 2004. Like, so basically a year after the game has come out. A report filtered out from reliable sources within Inner Circle of Concord has revealed that a huge infestation of rogue drones were found well within Empire space. There's a strong indication that the recently discovered swarm constitutes a new breed of drones. The leaked report further states that this discovery was made some weeks ago, but it's been carefully kept under wrap by Concord since. The reason given the exact nature of this new breed is as of yet not fully understood, and the presence as curious bystanders can lead to infestations or contaminations of these vessels, spreading the rogue drones even further. The report also claims that the rogue drone hive was discovered in a so-called dead space pocket, which explains why it remained undetected for so long. Many feel like this claim discredits the whole report, as even every spacefarer knows that dead space is totally inaccessible. Since the dead space phenomenon was first discovered centuries ago, many have tried to unlock the secrets of entering these elusive areas, but to no avail. That semi-sentient entities like rogue drones have mastered dead space sounds frankly ludicrous. Nevertheless, there's a grain of truth to be found in the report, and it will be interesting to see how Concord officials, especially officials, respond to the leaked report. So basically, this is as of 2004, YC106, the EVE universe understood that dead space pockets exist. Dead space pockets are basically an area of like gravitational neutrality, you know? So the idea is that like warp systems use gravity wells in order to lock onto things. And so a dead space pocket is an area of space in which there is no gravity well or anything that can be locked onto in order to warp to them, right? And so the idea is that these dead space pockets they're not quite Lagrange points. I don't think that they're Lagrange points. Because like, if you think about it, the Lagrange points are, well, I mean, Lagrange points might create a dead space pocket, but the idea is that there's these areas of space in which there's low to no gravitational interference, and therefore the warp drives have no capacity to like lock onto them. So they're not navigatable, right? But they found this rogue drone hive that happened to be in a dead space pocket. This is also why you can't warp within a dead space pocket, because basically your sensors can't lock onto things correctly, cannot navigate the gravitational like environment correctly because of the fact that it's dead space, right? So then Concord admits to hiding facts regarding the infestation. This is, I think, 2 days later. Yes, 2 days later, Inner Circle of Concord releases a rare press statement yesterday. The statement confirms the authenticity of the report that leaked earlier this week. A rogue drone hive was indeed found recently well within Empire space, though the exact location is still held secret. Concord officials state that the rogue drone discovered constitutes a new breed and their exact nature is still to be determined. Concord wants to make sure that these new drones are not capable of spreading their evil influences to nearby space vessels before the location of the new hive will be revealed. It is estimated that a full investigation of the matter will take close to 2 weeks. The official promise full cooperation with the public from now on. However, that promise may have been broken if Caldari representative to Concord, Tashin Ernabata, is anything to go by. Ernabata says that the accidental discovery of the hive within Deadspace opens up interesting possibilities for the Empires in increasing their power and security in space. The Empires are planting warp beacons within known dead spaces to allow drone sweepers to enter and clear out any rogue drone hives. Ernabata says that the state considers access to these warp beacons a state secret and should be guarded by the Empires. The state is already planning to construct complexes in dead space within its borders, and wanted them to be out of bounds to the general public. The other Empires are still to comment on this, but many be persuaded by the Caldari to follow suit and keep dead space warp beacons hidden. So as soon as they figured out the way, so these rogue drones were building hives in the dead space pockets. And it seems that they used those in order to plant warp beacons in those dead space pockets. So that's how those beacons get there, right? So they plant these beacons in there knowing that, like, well, if they have these things, allow their systems to lock onto them and warp to them. But if they're the only ones that have access to them, then they basically have secret sites, black sites everywhere. And that's great. So they want to keep this secret in their own thing now that this is becoming available. The statement released by the Inner Circle concludes by describing how the rogue drone hives in dead space was discovered a few weeks ago. Transmission with a freighter from one of the Empires, presumably the Empire where the hive is located, was suddenly lost while it was in transit. The freighter was carrying new types of implants valuable enough to warrant a strong search party being sent out. The area where the freighter was lost was located close to a dead space bubble, a phenomenon known for a long time, but considered to be of no interest due to its inaccessibility. But after a fruitless search for days, the leader of the search party finally decided to search close to the dead space bubble, and there he has received faint signals from the freighter from within the dead space. Further probing revealed an ancient acceleration gate on its outskirt. The gate was only capable of handling a frigate-sized ships, so a couple were sent in. There they were immediately set upon by dozens of rogue drones. Only one of the frigates returned to tell the story. That residing within the dead space bubble was a vast hive of rogue drones, though to be thought to be long extinguished from Empire space. So, obviously this is, again, 2004, very beginning of the game. So outside of the lore, this is the explanation of why anomalies exist in EVE. This is the story of how anomalies got introduced into EVE Online. And so the idea is that, like, so these Minmatar, the original acceleration gates were built by Minmatar a long, long time ago. But so the rogue drones had begun to use these things in order to access dead space pockets. Infestation under control, dead space debate rages. So this is now, again, 3 days later. Concord has issued a statement declaring the potential rogue drone infestation has been squashed in its infancy. The infestation was widely feared to be the discovery of huge drones hives hidden within dead space in various locations around Empire space. Under the leadership of Concord, the Empires have undertaken a massive cleanup operation against the rogue drones, clearing those hives already discovered out. The statement also reveals that warp beacons used to pinpoint locations within dead space was given by Concord to the Empires to help them in their drone sweeping efforts. The Empires have now declared their interest in using the warp beacons along with their ingenious acceleration gate technology employed by the rogue drones to build up their own infrastructure in dead space locations. To secure their interests, they have united to keep access to the warp beacons restricted to only the Empires themselves. Caldari scientists have already reverse engineered the modified acceleration gates, allowing them to be manufactured. It is believed that the Caldari state used the gates as leverage in securing the support of other empires by promising to sell them gates at a very reasonable price. Liberal politicians, mainly from the Federation, have denounced this decision. They claim it will stifle the expansion of independent pilot industry, which has looked so promising in recent months. So Concord develops the method of, like, placing these beacons in these dead space pockets, distributes those to the Empires, and then the Caldari state takes the information from the acceleration gates used by the rogue drones and begins to manufacture them. And so they rapidly begin colonizing dead space pockets. New 25ers group to fight Empire monopoly on dead space. The 25ers were activists that a little over a century ago fought the empires over freedom enjoyed by independent pilots. The 25ers, their struggle long since won, then faded into obscurity. But now, unidentified activists, believing to be Galanteans, have revived the old grassroots organization to fight the Empress or the Empires over access to dead space. The original 25ers group laid the foundation of the independent pilot community, unattached to the empires that fostered them at first. The pioneering work of the 25ers have been taken for granted for so long that most pilots don't even know that they owe their independence to this century-old activist group. But some have remembered, it seems, and are now ready to tackle the empires once more. We're not going into the 25ers today. Just they're a group in the story at the moment. As reported recently, the Empires decided to keep to themselves the warp beacon technology necessary for dead space access. Dead space offers a unique opportunity in allowing the space installations that are inaccessible to all but those with the means to link with the warp beacons. Naturally, the Empires have taken every care to make the warp beacons and their signals totally unhackable. Or as one Caldari scientist triumphantly put it, quote, "You could link all the quantum computers in the world together and you still wouldn't be able to crack the code." I do love it every single time EVE Online refers to something as the world, as if it's like everywhere instead of the cluster. But I digress. The 25ers have vowed to use any means necessary to crack the warp beacon code and break the monopoly the Empires currently enjoy on dead space. They will undoubtedly receive support in this endeavor from all freedom-loving pilots and pilot corporations that don't want to be frozen out of dead space and the opportunities it presents. But only time will tell if this latest 25ers campaign will meet with success or humiliating defeat. So then, guess what? So they have these unhackable beacons. Ready? The unhackable beacons are hacked by, wait for it, the dead space warp beacons proclaimed to be unhackable by the Caldari scientists that build them have been hacked. Not by any nefarious government agency bent on industrial espionage. No, the hacker has turned out to be a 17-year-old Galantean girl. The story has been well covered by The Scope. The family of the 17-year-old Ledette Ressoit was moving to a new home in the Gion constellation, traveling a high-tech vessel owned by Ledette's scientist father. Ledette missed her favorite soap opera, The Adventures of White Lightning, from her old home planet and decided to try to find it amongst the stellar wavelengths en route to her new home. Ledette possessed just enough technical knowledge to be able to put the equipment on her father's ship to good use, but not enough to realize how hopeless her task was. Undeterred, she set out to scan her surrounding space lanes and ended up finding the signal used by the Empires for dead space warp beacons, quite by accident. The Empire technicians are still trying to understand how Ledette managed to do what she did, but to the common man, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that what the Empires intended to keep top secret is now out in the open, accessible to anyone interested in knowing how to enter dead space locations. So, whoopsie. I guess everybody gets them now. Thanks for putting up the infrastructure. Empires escalate dead space construction as competition heats up. This is now jump forward 7 more days, so we're getting pretty close to the 2-week mark that they were talking about. All of the empires that make up the civilized parts of space are putting increased emphasis on dead space complexes now that the technology behind keeping them secret has been compromised. The empires are keen to keep unwanted parties out of dead space areas within their border, and the only way to do that is to occupy them for themselves. This move comes as no surprise, as it is only a matter of time before other factions catch up with the complex technology and start building their own complexes in dead space. It is already rumored that pirate factions have launched cleanup operations of their own dead space areas, clearing out any rogue drone infestations in preparation for this. Though commendable from the point of view of checking any possible rogue drone plagues, many feel that dead space pirates' havens are just as bad. Details are still vague on how exactly the 17-year-old Ledette Ressoit managed to break the encryption guarding the warp beacon signals used to enter dead space. The Caldari state has launched an internal investigation into the matter, but any findings will most likely be kept under wraps, especially as the Caldari are feeling rather embarrassed that the encryption technology that they devised and flaunted as being unbreakable was so easily brushed aside by a teenager to boot. However, this is of little interest to the common pilots. All they care about is that the efforts of Ressoit now allow them to experience dead space for themselves, for better or worse. And then followed by, like, 4 months later, we get, according to the bi-monthly report submitted by the DED Observation and Analysis Subcommittee yesterday, the numbers of illegal dead space outposts harboring dangerous elements are steadily increasing on the fringes of Concord Police Space. The Garistas and Sanchez Nation are among the criminal organizations known to be building new outposts in various locations along the divide of the Outer Rim frontier. Sentis Sancha, the nation's wing of Dead Space operatives, have, according to the report, built a new type of true power complex, the first of Sancha's outposts to be branded a level 10 on the DED's threat assessment scale. Additionally, Gristis leaders have reportedly authorized the schematic of a new type of penal complex, which the organization intends to build in several locations. The report brought some good news as well. Due to no small part to constant raids by Capsuleer fighter pilots and Navy forces, the resources of the Angels and the Serpentis have been weakened, leaving some of their most powerful strongholds in a somewhat weakened state. The DED has publicly commended the tireless efforts of Capsuleer organizations to this end and remains firm on the belief that with their help, the tide of intergalactic crime may continue to be stemmed. Well, I don't know about that, but this is how we get Dead Space pockets. It's why you require a Dead Space beacon in order to warp to the Dead Space pocket. It's why all warp to the Dead Space pocket and anything within the Dead Space pocket is always in regards to the beacon. And it's why with events like the Winter Harvest or anything like that can suddenly discover sites all over the universe, because the idea is that Dead Space isn't that rare in the universe in any given system, but only when the individual beacons are exposed for one reason or another do they become observable and lockable by us Capsuleers. So that's it. That's the story of Dead Space, or at least why we have Dead Space pockets, or why we have why most pirate sites and why most of the sites that we run are in Dead Space pockets, was because of this sequence of events that led them to become the go-to place to build secret facilities back in 2004 and 2005. I hope that this has been fun. This should be edited out for everybody else. So if you're watching this after the fact, thank you very much. If you're watching this live, keep watching. But otherwise, I hope that this kind of shorter snippet of information when it comes to the lore was somewhat useful to you. Like the video if you did like it. And let me know if there's anything else about Dead Space that I might know, or what is your favorite Dead Space pocket. Maybe I should go check it out. Otherwise, I've been Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden. Until next time, I'll see you in space.